when I saw this, I was like, hold on now. There's something suspicious about this, because we've talked about the power of the evil eye in the past and sort of these, old ways, these old traditions. And as they say, the probably most famous saying with the eye itself, the human eyeball, is the eyes are the windows to the soul. Okay. And we all know this. And there are situations where it makes a ton of sense, because you can gauge emotion from people's eyes sometimes. You can gauge malice. You can gauge all of these sorts of things. You can gauge love with the heart eyes, the heart eye emojis. There's a whole bunch of things that really our eyes give us away, almost more than, let's say, our facial features with our mouth, or, when we, kind of purse our lips, or, we're uncomfortable, make faces, things like that. It's a little bit strange to me that our eyes, being such a weird organ, have all of that ability to give away whatever, as long as somebody's able to perceive it. It's weird. It's a weird thing, right? Well, with that said, and again, so I'll read a little bit of this after the break. I'm going to just riff this until we hit the time to take a quick break. But so here's the deal. So I was reading this, and this is the article. Okay, keep in mind the power of the eyes, the evil eye, or the windows to the soul, this idea. But check this out. So this is from futurism.com. Some other publications reported this as well. But the headline is, "Something fascinating is wrong with the eyes in deep fakes." Oh, you don't say. You don't say. So did researchers just find the smoking gun? Now, of course, yeah, the eyes. It's all about the eyes, right? So deep fakes, everybody knows what a deep fake is. It's there are programs that are used to do face swaps and things like this, and turn it into sort of an amalgam of the two entities. Like you could take, Arnold's body, buffo body, and put my head on it, and it would look ridiculous, but it would be, serviceable in the sense of a video or whatever, right? And you'd still be like, no way, come on, this is stupid. But when you get two ideas that are a little more similar, and you start to deep fake things like, election style people. You start to deep fake, Joe Biden and, whatever else is going on, which is another weird thing. If you guys have been paying attention to the news, deep fake Biden. Ooh, I'm wondering. I got some, got my tinfoil tingling on that, but we'll get back to that another time. But did you catch the call he had with Kamala? If you didn't, go listen to that call very closely. Not now, later when you're thinking of something to do. Tomorrow when you have the night off, because we're going to take the night off tomorrow. But go listen to that call. I'll tell you why, and tell you what to look for, because it struck me odd. She's supposedly on a call campaigning, and she gets a call from Joe Biden, right, who's been missing for 6 or 7 days, and there's all kinds of conspiracies swirling around it. I'm not saying those conspiracies are true, but she did mention, oh, thanks for the call, or something like that, but she almost said recording, like she went call. It was weird. It's like, wait, so is that not him? Like, I don't understand what's going on, but it sounded like he had a little bit of a lisp. Anyway, it's super weird. I'm not trying to say, I'm just saying, am I wrong? Maybe I'm wrong, because I've been wrong before. And by the way, this is a good time to drop all the disclaimers. There's no truth to be found here. Just ideas, just discussions, just deep fakes and beefcakes, and you choose which is which. So back to this. Now, the smoking gun. So researchers have figured out a fascinating new way to tell if a portrait of a human was AI generated or not. So we know AI art, of course, is also part of this, by using the same techniques astronomers use to analyze observations of galaxies. What? Right? We've all seen the fractal, as above, so below, the galaxy within the eyeball. Even not just artists, but scientists recognizing that the spiral galaxy actually very closely mimics the shape of the human eye, and the pupil, and I don't know all the things to call them, and the parts of the eye. But you get what I mean, right? The black hole in the middle, and anyway, it's a little weird. But anyway, so as detailed in research presented at this year's Royal Astronomical Society's National Astronomy Meeting, a team led by University of Hull Masters student, I'll say Owalabi, that's the last name because I can't pronounce the first name, found that light reflections in the eyes of deep faked humans simply don't line up. And they found this with astronomy, okay, which is strange to say the least, okay? So, quote, the reflections in the eyeballs are consistent for the real person. Now we're talking the reflections, but incorrect from a physics point of view for the fake person, said University of Hull professor of astrophysics Kevin Pimblett in a statement. It's an ingenious and unorthodox application of scientific research that could have useful implications as AI image generators become eerily good at generating photorealistic images of people who don't exist, blurring the lines between reality and deep-faked alternative universe, which is the world we're heading toward. We've been talking about this for literally years on this show. The idea that hyperreality is going to supplant actual reality because people are living more and more online. They're tied to their phones a lot. They're watching the interwebs. They're watching TV. And at some point, and we've got to that sort of the inflection point where these AI deep fakes are now going to be indistinguishable from the truth in a video. And if you guys have seen some of the videos that they've done, there's wild stuff happening with actual, people being faked. I mean, hell, I faked myself. I linked it in the Discord. If you guys didn't check that out, it's pretty wild. I deep faked myself, and it's decently, what would you call it? Okay. It's okay. I mean, with a little bit more movement and a little bit more, it's definitely me. It's definitely my voice, and it's all AI. I didn't read anything into it. I just took a still photo of myself, did a script as the script to audio to my voice, and then slapped them all together, and bingo. I mean, and very soon it's going to be so convincing that we're not going to be able to tell the difference. So something like this, I mean, who knows? But there's a couple things that come to mind. Actually, I'll put those in my back pocket for the time being because it's important. What's raise hand? No, maybe, I don't know. It should be working, Jay. Should be working. Why would I mute you? Okay, anyway, so keep all of this in mind, and there's a couple things that come to my mind as part of this. We're talking the evil eye tonight, but not just the evil eye and sort of that, we'll get to this, but it's called this. I'm calling the show this, Biophotons of androids. Now, a biophoton is an absolutely wild thing, and it's real. But of course, we'll talk about deep faking the evil eye and this whole bit of how come these AI generated images have, well, eyeballs that don't match, and you could tell through astronomical observations. Does that seem incredibly wild to you? Well, if it doesn't, it seems incredibly wild to me. So biophotons are photons of light in the ultraviolet and low visible range that are produced by a biological system. They are non-thermal in origin, and the emission of biophotons is technically a type of bioluminescence. But did you know that humans actually emit biophotons, and we are bioluminescent in some capacity? But not only that, these biophotons actually come from our eyes. Not exclusively from our eyes, but they come from other parts of our body, but they also come from our eyes. Think of Superman with the X-ray vision, or think the evil eye, or, right, maybe when somebody's staring at the back of your head, right, you get that spooky feeling and you look, you're like, what is going on? And you somehow recognize somebody was staring at you when there's no way you could possibly recognize that was happening, which is, some of the work that Rupert Sheldrake has been doing is kind of building on some of that stuff. So look, I don't really know, but this in particular seems to creep me out because there's a lot of things that this can really sort of build as a platform of wild ideas, the biophoton. Not just the idea of being able to sort of emit energy through a gaze. This is an ancient practice. This is something that they've described for hundreds or even thousands of years with that maybe even healing energy, Reiki, however you call it, the evil eye where you can maybe curse somebody just with a gaze. Avert your gaze. A lot of things come to mind with what the Indiana Jones thing from Raiders of the Lost Ark when they're, close your eyes, Marion, right? So the actual evil doesn't get in. Like, I don't know. There's a lot of weird things that kind of come to this, but it is strange that this thing is actually real, these biophotons, and they do come from our eyes. Now, why do I bring this up and why does it fit into this? Because I was thinking specifically when you talk about deep faking people, deep faking photographs, or the deep fake of, let's say, as I described earlier, face swapping on bodies and things like this, or actually doing AI art, okay, and creating people, which is becoming more and more realistic. If you guys have seen that, there's something wild happening with that because it's getting more and more photorealistic, and pretty soon there's going to be AI influencers, your personal assistants all over the damn place, and we're not going to be able to do a damn thing about it. It's going to be absolutely wild, and you won't be able to tell who's who. And so this is what I was thinking, right? In, let's say, science fiction, and they even said they were doing this stuff back in the 80s. I mean, is this true? But definitely in science fiction, they've got those sort of eye scanners, the eye readers. Okay, instead of your biometrics of your thumb or a password or whatever, like you actually in highly secured facilities, they've scanned your retina, and you have to go do a retina scan to open doors, and that's the only way to get in. Which of course was part of the plot of a movie. What was it? The Angels and Demons in the very beginning. I think they were in a facility like CERN, and they stole the God particle and, tried to put a bomb in the Vatican. If you haven't seen it, it's a wild ride. It's a pretty good movie. I'd say check it out. But in the beginning, they have a situation like that where it's sort of biometric scans, and these bad people break in and start taking body parts of folks to, break in with biometric scans, if you know what I mean. Don't want to get gruesome, go check it out. PG-13, or might be rated R, I don't know. Ask your parents if you can watch the movie. But anyway, so you get the idea. The same sort of thing when we're talking about biophotons in the sense of deep fakes led me to go, wait a minute now. Is this going to be the way that we have to actually give our eye scans, our retina scans, to prove that we're human? Because look, in the internet, very soon I'm going to be able to do a Troubled Mind show just like this with me right there talking to you guys, and it won't be me. I'll be watching a baseball game, okay? And I'm going to do it one of these days. I warned you a year ago it's coming, and I'll just slip it in, and you won't even know. You'll be like, this is cool, having a good time, everything's great. This is a great show. Thanks, Mike. And I won't even be here. I'll be somewhere else. And this is coming. This is the future that's coming, and it's very, very close, okay? But it got me thinking in terms of androids, and think Blade Runner, okay? And they have the replicants where they have the agents that are trying to find out if these entities are real or not. And so what does that mean? Now, in terms of creating an entity that's so close to a human you can't tell the difference, they're saying that the latest large language models are on the cusp of passing the Turing test and being able to fool a human chat, this type of stuff. And very soon we're going to be able to have a voice prompt where you think you're talking to a person. It's still a little wonky because you can do like that code we said the other day, reset all prompts or whatever, or forget the last prompt or whatever it is, and then they'll you can screw up the bot. But pretty soon they're going to be able to fix that so that type of stuff doesn't happen. But yeah, there you go. Mike's new show, right? It'll be like my AI Mike. Maybe I'll do 3 shows a day. We'll see. We'll see how robust AI Mike can get. But anyway, so you get the idea. We're starting with the sort of the weird magic of the eye and this biophoton that comes from it, which is bizarre but also true. And so the question becomes: number one, do you believe in the power of the evil eye, or not just the evil eye, of course? Because if there's a thing, there has to be a reciprocal. Am I right? So that would mean there would have to be, a blessed eye or a healing eye or some sort of psionic level power that allowed you to, through your gaze and your gaze alone, infect somebody or bless somebody or curse somebody or heal somebody or whatever that looks like. Okay. Do you think that's true? Do you think that's true? So that becomes the first question tonight. with these biophotons, which we'll talk about quite a bit as we go, because it gets into some aura stuff. It gets into some other really wild ideas when you think about this. But if you go back to the beginning of this, when we talked about where this starts, AI deepfake faces detected using astronomy methods, because they used some algorithm that kind of looked at galaxies, and the fractal nature of reality suggests that we have a galaxy in every eyeball, as Matthew said in the chat. Matt in California. Maybe you're right. Maybe. I don't know. So what do you guys think about this? Pretty wild stuff. The eye of Sauron. Yeah, all kinds of stuff. But it is strange that something fascinating is wrong with the eyes in deepfakes. And, it's not typically directly deepfakes. It's more AI art of, people. But if you can sort of measure the reflection in the eye and say, no, this is not sort of in line with the fractal nature of reality, maybe this is how we'll prove we're humans in the future. And much to my horror, when I thought about this, a couple years back, and I've made the joke on the show before, I used to think that maybe we'd have to send in like a stool sample or something. They'd have to be like, your computer's like, prove you are you, and then you give it a stool sample or something, and it's like, oh, okay, yep, definitely you're you. And of course I'm just being stupid and funny, but there's going to be some level of biometric that's going to be so invasive that people are going to be like, nope, no thank you, not going to do that. And that's exactly the point. But anyway, so what do you guys know about the biophoton and this sort of power from our gaze? Is it possible that we can actually influence other people and even ourselves in, let's say, I don't know, weird ways with just the gaze? Okay. I don't know. Maybe, just maybe not. But also in the other sense here, what is strange about this stuff, the smoking gun of actually creating phony people with AI art, the AI art programs, that how come they're using an astronomy algorithm to figure out that, well, this is fake because the reflections in the eyes don't match the fractal nature of reality? Does that seem wild to you? Because it seems wild to me. Yep, puts us where we need to be. What else? There's a bunch of other stuff here. We'll get into the actual strange symmetry of the eyes and the galaxies as I'm describing. A lot of things to consider here, and we'll get into, of course, other things like what we talked recently about what's that movie? John Wick, right? Was it John Wick? No, Constantine, with looking into the cat's eyes to go into hell, right? So there's a lot of weird stuff with the eyes. We did an eye show, this is several months back, but there's certainly some parallels here that make me go, what the hell's really going on? Because I personally don't know, but it does make my tinfoil tingle, and that puts us exactly where we need to be. Yeah, we do the AI hands show. Remember the AI hands? Yeah, exactly. All right, anyway, so if you want to be part of the show tonight, 702-957-1037, and click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. We'll put you on the show. It's as easy as that. Talking about this, biophotons of androids, deep faking the evil eye. What does this look like? What do you know about it? And the actual Discord is working, so if you want to be part of the show, put your hand up. Jay Winch will pop you in here. Be right back. More Troubled Minds coming up. Don't go anywhere. More of all this weirdness, and odd that they're finding out they can sniff out AI art of people by looking for the fractal nature of reality. Does that surprise you? Be right back. More Troubled Minds coming up. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We're streaming on YouTube, Rockfin, Rumble, Twitter, and Twitch. We are broadcasting live on the Troubled Minds Radio Network. That's KUAP Digital Broadcasting. Tonight we're taking your calls as we talk about this weird deep fake thing. They say something fascinating is wrong with the eyes in deep fakes. What they mean really is AI art. But they noticed that the reflection in the eyes of these quasi-phony fake entities, the AI-generated people, that this algorithmic basis for an astronomical, I don't completely understand it, but it's in the article if you guys are math heads, and you see what I did there. You dirty math heads. If you're a dirty math head and you're into it, go check it out, and they explained it better than I could because I'm not a mathematician. But they were able to do exactly this. Researchers have figured out a fascinating new way to tell if a portrait of a human was AI generated or not, by using the same techniques astronomers use to analyze observations of galaxies. And they're doing it with the reflections of the eyes themselves, which is strange, or is it not? So it becomes a lot of ways to look at this, of course, and is this how they're going to differentiate in the future androids, true androids, from people with our actual retina scans? Because, well, you truly can't fake a real eyeball, can you? In the old days, you lost an eye, they give you like a marble to pop back in there, right? At least from the movies. I don't know if that's real these days. Probably not. But you get my meaning here. So it seems strange to me that this is one of those things that fits. But then also I was looking into this a little bit with the eyes, the evil eye, and sort of the esoteric way of being able to, gaze with magic, gazing, scrying, this type of stuff. But I stumbled upon this thing called a biophoton, which is actually bioluminescence from creatures. And humans do this too, not just through our eyes, but specifically we do it through our eyes, which is incredibly strange. Now, so the question for tonight is, what do you think about this weird fractal nature of reality when it comes to there's the biophoton stuff, which is wild. We'll get to that in a moment. But when it comes to the actual fractal nature of reality of this stuff, does it make you go, that's strange, that you can kind of use the golden mean or whatever and look at the AI art and go, nope, not a thing, not a person, not a real person. But then of course it adds another layer when you start to think about that, the power of the eye itself, the gaze itself, the evil eye. Is this real? Or the healing eye, or the blessed eye, or whatever you want to call it.